This is quite possibly the deadliest Tier 10 in World of Tanks Blitz, the Kampfpanzer 50-ton. In the latest update of the game, Wargaming decided to give a vehicle that already has 3,700 base damage per minute tungsten rounds. Yes, you heard that right. This vehicle now has the ability to not only run adrenaline, increasing its DPM upwards of 4,500-ish, but then tungsten giving it over 5,000 effective DPM. This is on a medium that features very solid hull armor, a turret that you're going to have to load premium to effectively pen, and even featuring a pretty decent amount of mobility. The Kampfpanzer 50-ton is quite possibly the best of all the mediums now, but there's only one way to find out. That is by testing it out in some gameplay. So here we are in our first battle. Up against us, we have an AMX 50B, a Progetto 65, and that's about it for mobility. Okay, well, starting off, I am going to make my way directly over towards Base B's Overlook. This is a very good position to get some quick early game snaps out. It's one of the reasons why I say Naval Frontier is a stupid map, because if you're in a heavy, especially if like a TVP goes to this crossing, you can lose an insane amount of health. Thankfully, I'm not in a heavy. I'm the one who gets to farm. So let us go right over to this crossing. You can see the Kampfpanzer's pretty decent top speed. Alright, hello. Does anybody want to get shot? I also like to check this spot here, and as you can see, we have detected an enemy AMX 50B. Okay, that's pretty nice. I am going to be a little cautious, obviously. I'm not going to poke while I am detected. But I would expect that we're unspotted at this point. Let's see. Anybody here? Nope. Still nothing here. We can check this bush again for the 50B. It doesn't look like that player's there. Sometimes if you check a little bit wider, you can see if players like to leave this spot, which is pretty cool as well. So if that 50B ever tried to cross, we could get a pretty easy shot in. But it appears as of right now that their team is not going at all towards heavy side, and they are all going to medium side. Now, as we can also see, that's not going very well for them. There you go, we got a nice shot to the enemy Progetto. That player's not all too healthy anymore. Then we got a nice shell into the Leopard. You'll notice that this vehicle actually features pretty solid accuracy, which allows it to hit shots quite easily. We got the 50B in front of us, and this is where we plop on our tungsten and adrenaline. Our first shell rolls 360. Our second shot rolls 380. Holy, I mean, this is insane. And there you go, another 380 finishing off that player. Then we can possibly get another shell into the Yag. There you go, 390 damage roll into his tank. Just like that, we are up to a whopping 2,500 damage. Oh, I'm sorry, 2,800 damage. The Yag's going to turn sideways to get in the cover, but we're not going to allow that as we killed him. So, just like that, we have been able to farm 2,957 damage. I mean, that's a little insane. Something else that this vehicle's really good at is actually ramming. You'll notice we took about 100 off of that IS-8, which is pretty decent for what is a medium tank, if you remember. So we're going to get to the side of the IS-8, get another pretty easy slap into his vehicle. My Tortoise is trying to get a bit of a farm in, but he's kind of failing. There you go, another nice shot. Look at how much faster we reload than a Tortoise. I mean, the Kampfpanzer is just an insane tank. There's really no and, if, or buts about it. The sheer level of DPM the vehicle carries, paired with the fact that it's got so much armor and mobility, is just a little ridiculous. Now we got the enemy Waffenträger, who we managed to shoot the gun on. That's pretty unfortunate, but that's only our first shot. This one does, in fact, go where we wanted it to. We're going to give him a little love tap for 194. Another HE, taking off 580 in total. Then we're going to keep going. There you go. Another nice little ram, and boom, finished him off with the ram. So, yeah, I'd be willing to say that this first battle was already a great showcase of the vehicle's not only mobility, DPM, decent armor, but just about everything it has going for it. We were able to deal 6,005 damage in that battle. I mean, what the heck? We didn't even ace it. We did get a first class and a high caliber, which means we're still going to net 230,000 credits, but what? You watched me turn a pretty healthy AMX 50B into a sponge of bullets in about, what, 10 seconds, 15 seconds? It's a little ridiculous what this vehicle can do. But another game, another battle. Up against us, we have an IS-4, IS-7, and a Kranvan. That makes 3 heavies. They have a 183 and a 268, so very deadly TDs. And they have 2 of the stronger mediums, being a T-62A and a TVP-5051. Okay, well, starting off this battle, I am not going to do anything overly aggressive because while this tank does have good armor and it has decent aggressive capabilities, it's not always the best decision, especially on the EU server, to play over-aggressive when they have a TVP. So I'm going to let my 1-2-1 do that. We can see that that player is playing very aggro. Alright, well there's the 268 who has been spotted. I'm not sure what that 268 is doing exactly, but it looks like that player is going all the way wide. What we also notice, though, is that the TVP is off to the side over here, and we're going to aim in on that TVP, get one nice bonk into his vehicle. I'm going to put on my adrenaline, and we're going to get another shell into that TVP. There you go. Nice. Alright, well, we've been able to take off a pretty solid chunk of that player. We got the Object 268 in front of us, who I would love to get a bonking into. Let's aim it on the 268's roof. There you go. Nice shot for 316. And the thing about the 268 is that it's got 690 alpha, and that's a pretty decent chunk of my hit points. If I play overly aggressive, this 268 might just, you know, bonk me, and I don't really want that to happen, so I'm just going to wait passively right here. Looks like the 268 has turned. At this point, I'm going to push up, and we're going to see if I can get some damage into his vehicle. That 268 is most definitely going to turn for the grill, which we can see right here. I'm going to put on my tungsten. We got a nice 400 max roll. Okay, nice. We're going to aim in another shell. There you go. Nice 372 shot into the enemy 268, and just like that, we've already been able to deal some good damage. Maybe not the best use to my tungsten shells, but I really can't complain. We're going to get our adrenaline back in 20 seconds, which is actually quite fast, and we're going to start aiming it on the Kron. There you go, one very easy shell into the enemy Kron-Aruni. We're going to aim it again, and bonk. Okay, well, that was unfortunate. TVP 5051, ladies and gentlemen. The most fun tank to fight. When you think you're out of sight, they just pop out of the middle of nowhere and still take a chunk off you. Thankfully, this TVP is going to die. As you can see, we got a nice chunk into his tank. Okay, well now we got the 62A in front of us. We got one nice shell into his vehicle. We're going to get into a bit of a face hug with him, and you can see where this vehicle's actual very solid frontal armor comes into play. While the 62A might have good frontal armor, it's nowhere near as good as the Kampfpanzers. Like the KPZ is upwards of 330, which is actually really solid. So the 62A ends up dying. The only problem with our vehicle is that we have a dead driver. That's obviously something you will always have to worry about when using a vehicle that only has one repair kit. Is your driver dying? But as we can see, not too much of a problem so far. We got the side of the 183, which we're able to get one easy shot into, and we're going to reload again, get a second easy shell into the 183, and just like that, another very solid battle. Upwards of 4,200 damage, an easy victory. This tank is insane. Like, easily, this is one of the best tier 10s, period. The fact that it has 3,700 DPM base with great dispersion, great everything, mobility. I don't know why, but people always try to say the mobility on this tank isn't good, which is just wrong. It's actually quite mobile. When you add that onto the 8 degrees of gun depression, a turret that's solid, armor that's really good, and everything about it, it's just ridiculous. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.